Yes. So, of course, listen, and the second, the third, Ano po? So, technology. Please. Basic. See this, I'm taking up. And the second is, he took So, and this presently we have and this is ready and ready to take up, and one of the friend is taken up and working on that, and still we are, and this is it's in the production system, and this and this is a process that we have going through now, and the second and interestingly, so we are we can see the same and same pictures on the right here as well as here. This is this is a fungal mullein what we have produced. It's forming a very specific capsule formations, and it has water soluble. And also we are working on optimization and production of this through recombinant. And of course we have also, use of two bacterial systems, and which takes nearly a 6 months period to degrade in environmental conditions. And this one works in a marine system. This because algae, this bacteria coming from the marine deep sea, they work in marine conditions and they could able to degrade and utilize the hydrocarbon into simpler form in a matter of 60 days. And this technology has already been has been commercialized, and companies are working. We are working with a number of applications. We also do certain kind of environmental work in Andaman. During our environmental studies in northern Andaman, there are a number of mud volcanoes, active volcanoes, because Andaman is the only place in India we have volcano, and there is one island still active volcanoes there. That's called a barren island, and volcanic activity is there. But interestingly, during this volcanic activity after from 2004 earthquakes, number of something we bought on sample from mud volcano, and we screened for the inside this, and we could able to identify a bacteria which is a bacillus megatherium, which produce huge amount of indolestic acid. In agriculture, and we have a sequence facility at Pharmacy. We are working on the field scale for any kind of development and demonstration and scalable for large scale productions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bharani. Such a beautiful innovation for the nation. And this is the role and role model created by you and your team, particularly in marine biotechnology. So I would like to, before going to the next session, I'd like to request the IT team to kindly solve the problem. The participants from online are getting difficulty in getting audio. So anyone have any question from offline and online? I'll give priority to online. Anyone? Anyone? Small questions. The last slide which you have given PGR, plant growth regulator, whether it will be compatible with the other fertilizer and pesticide?
Yes. This purified compound can it is an biofertilizer. It is an biofertilizer. So it is highly compatible than with any other fertilizer or pesticide available, and it is environmental friendly and bacterial plant friendly, because the bacteria goes down with this product, and the product can be given directly, or the bacteria also work with the plant for production of this compound.
Okay. Dr. Chandrasekhar, do you have any query?
Please.
Sir, can you please switch on your camera?
You have mentioned of biosurfactant. What will the cost of per kg?
Biosurfactant production units for much to 2 rupees per 7 rupees per gram. Yes, it is 40,000 per kg.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, basically, to introduce ourselves to the rest of the audience.
Yeah, can you please introduce?
I'm Chandrasekhar. Identifying the market potential for the various products, including the, the underwater vehicle, the ocean buoys and the like, as well as lately we have been also looking at the RT-PCR, also lutein and phycocyanine kind of products. During the course of the research that we found out, the industry, when it comes to the identification of feasibility of some of these products. People want to know whether the equipments are available. Like for instance, in Lutein's case, there is certain microwave and ultrasonic kind of a process involved. Whether they can be scaled up from the pilot level now to the industry level is the question that is being raised by some of the people in the course of my interaction.
Okay, Dr. Bharani,
Well, I noticed that during the course of our search, of course, on the Google kind of search engine, that such an activity is happening in Europe, but not so much in Asian areas. So, how to convince them is the difficulty that we have, particularly relating to those, the microwave aspects. Yeah.
Mike, please.
Answer your question, all this technology or instrumental part what we are testing is really scalable. Only thing is we don't have an examples inside, working examples inside India. But really, as you said, in abroad, it was all working examples other than the large scale production. So we have tested in the laboratory scale, and those models can be scaled up to any large size. But we have to, entrepreneur has to jump in because as a research laboratory, we have only capacity to test in laboratory scale and a small pilot scale. So the next things industry has to come forward to take it up.
My question, sorry, whether anybody has come forward to interact with you on these kind of areas, to build up those equipments and like the microwave, to do something like.
As Dr. Chandrasekhar said, the problem is the data. See, the entrepreneurs who are not taking up the data or the technology and they are going into the market. But as a common problem like NRDC, we should be having a data which gives us an idea about the supply and the demand and the requirement of the market. See, we have a number of innovative products available with us, but we don't have the data where it is available and what is the demand of the customer. Because without knowing the demand of the market, there is no point in investing so much and taking the technology to the market. And that is a difficult to Dr. Tata will add.
Yeah, I think some data NRTC is giving. The people like Chandrasekhar are actually doing the market survey for every product, what actually we are giving it for the TOT part. So then some they will do, and some I think probably somebody who is ready to spend money, he will be here to do it. He can't read everything.
Yeah, so comments from our CMD.
I think what is, first of all, I think there is a, as I said, for potential technologies, we also have a certain support available through the grants from Government of India, wherein we do value addition on those technologies. Something like preparation of basic engineering design package, feasibility study reports, market survey reports. So that is feasible. But for every technology which get assigned to an RDC, this kind of activity may not be feasible. So as Dr. Tata is also saying, that if there is an interest which is shown, see, it is a one way of ideal way of doing it is that for every technology assigned, we should have a market survey report available, and we should reach out to people, make it visible to them that yes, it has the potential. Yeah, please. Other way around is that depending upon the interest of the entrepreneur. First of all, if he shows that kind of interest, then there is a possibility of doing this. Because otherwise, what will happen is that we create so many reports and at the end of it, you don't find any takers. So then it should not be exercising futility.
Sir, for example, in Jal Jeevan Mission, a number of products have been included in Jal Jeevan Mission, almost 140 products. But some of our products, which is very much involved in the environmental concept. This was under Ministry of India. A number of private innovators have been included in that one. And these government innovators, when we take up some steps and we go through, we are not the original innovators because we have taken the technology from government of India. So we don't have some of the rights that we can go directly. In that case, we have requiring the support of NRDC because they are the enabling organization for us. So that is what we are expecting from them also.
I fully agree with you. That is why, first of all, even there is a requirement to give the visibility to the work which is happening. So what are the means which are available at your disposal to give that visibility, and how will you, there is, it means you have to reach out to the beneficiary, the one who is interested in it. As you rightly said, today there is a proactive approach from the office of the PSA that they are seeking out connecting up NRDC with various ministries. So when we connected with those ministries, whether it is Ministry of Power, Ministry of MNRE, they ask what kind of technologies which are available to us, with us, which can be made use of. So that there has to be a concept of technology bank. It means the technologies which gets assigned to us, we then, based on the requirement which come from the ministry, we can convey it to them. This is one way of doing it. It means in this we are reactive. Proactive approach is that we ourselves, in an aggressive manner, reach out to the beneficiaries. So what are the mediums which are available to you? Industry interaction meets, exhibitions. So that those kind of things has to be done. So it means you have to find a cluster and address those clusters, take these technologies to them. So, and maybe I think because of the COVID scenario for last 2 years, we have not had this kind of opportunity. But these are the things which needs to be extensively utilized. And more proactive approach, as you rightly said, the one who will do it is NRDC. So first step is that you assign those technologies to NRDC, identify which are the potential technologies, we can even generate market reports and connect up the ecosystem primarily through the ministries. That is feasible. And also to the industry through our programs for you.
Thank you, sir. And I think you got that is the objective of bringing you all, so that your inputs, your suggestions certainly that will create impact. And thank you, Dr. Dharni and team. And we have behind the schedule now. We have a next session. That session will be chaired by Commodore Amit Rastogi, Chairman of NRDC. The session is on technology commercialization, mitigating the challenge from technology readiness level to innovation readiness level. So we need stakeholder input, suggestion, legends, many of them.
I think the basis of the entire discussion, what is happening today, is technology commercialization. Through Dr. Dharni's presentation, it is quite evident that the work is happening. And there are technologies which are available with us in the labs. But certainly there is a requirement to commercialize those technologies which are available here. So the step is clear, the objective is clear. How to do it also is clear. The only point which I feel at times that when we talked about TRL, because the correct assessment of TRL is important for commercialization of technology. How is this assessment of TRL being done? Because in my opinion, that becomes the basic challenge. Until the technology is mature, it cannot be taken up for commercialization. Who does this assessment is an issue. I would say the scientific community, the one who is developing the technology, he does his own assessment and put it out to the industry. So the need is that the technology is required to be commercialized, taken to the market. And how to do it also is known. It means there is a structured approach to this exercise. But still, there are certain pain points which are there with at both ends, whether you call it at the industry end and also at the researchers end. So in my opinion, I think when we open this floor for discussion amongst all the people, do we have that slide which can be listed as to who all are going to be part of this?
IT people can show the program online.
Okay, till this time that comes out, not an issue. Idea is that this should be the discussion amongst all the stakeholders, and as I look at it, all of them are from the industry, who will give us their perspective on what are the challenges which they are facing in the commercialization of a technology. So, and we will try and take those points primarily for subsequent discussion and then finalize as to what are the issues which are affecting commercialization of a technology. So in this regard, I would request Mr. Karthik Srinivasan CEO and Managing Director, Messrs. SAI Electro Biogenic India Private Limited, Chennai.
Good morning, sir. Very good morning. I am Karthik Srinivas Verma. I am the CEO for SAI Electrobiogenic India Private Limited. And before the format, I would just like to hand over to the. So this is one of the technology which we have taken from NIOT, and this is the PCR-based rapid detection test for Enterococcus faecalis, which is the indicator organism for fetal contamination as per WHO. So as we were discussing about this mitigating the challenges from the technology to the industry level, the main thing is that whatever we have taken the technology, it is up to the pilot scale. So for the validation, standardization and other things, like it takes a lot of time and money. And during this COVID and other situations, we couldn't do that in a full scale manner. So the first thing is like we would request NRDC to have like a cluster like approach within the NOT for the technology developers here. So wherever there needs to be a validation or standardization, that can be done in campus with the support of the other parts, because we may be strong in some of the technologies instrumentation. The other industry may be good in some of the things, so we can share a common platform. So that is one thing, sir. And second thing is that when we come to this technology like this is needed technology, and the difficult part for the industries is that to take it to the market or to the customer, because these testing technologies, basically this can be implemented only through the government agencies, because when we go to private organizations, they are telling this is not a government mandatory. So there we fail with that thing. So we have already approached BSI for standardization of this kit, and we are also included it in GEM. So from our part, we have done most of the things, and we have communicated to NRDC also regarding this particular part where, like we have given our representation to Jal Jeevan scheme. So the Jal Jeevan mission, there are a number of technologies which are highly expensive have been included. And this technique or this kits will replace those highly expensive kits with meager money. So, but that proposition has not been given. We have given a direct proposition to Jal Jeevan mission, but their question is that why it has not been put in the central government. So since we have tied up with NAOT and NRDC, when we go to the government of states, they are putting the question to us. So that is a big difficulty for us, sir. That is one thing. Because commercially the kits are available, we can just sell it to anybody. But this is not a kit we can sell it to anybody. It needs some regulatory persons to take care of the environmental concerns. Sir.
Can I just add one thing to what Mr. Verma was saying? I think definitely in the course of the discussion we found out that now the certification kind of thing is available, it will definitely be helpful. Like for instance, when I was speaking to the director of health here in Tamil Nadu, relating to the RT-PCR, same product, they were asking whether it is who certified, World Health Organization certified. And in which case you can probably implement it, is what you were saying.
Sir, it is.
Same here, like for instance, he was talking about the pathogens identification. An institution like FSSAI, and where to certify, it might help people who are going for kind of a technology, but to make it mandatory also, a kind of a statutory thing if it is made, across at least that, by the health authorities in various states and all that, it might help the people who avail the technology. That is my observations.
Sir, one point, sir. The kit is being validated by Tamil Nadu Veterinary University, sir.
Okay.
For certification. That is being in Chennai itself, sir.
Chennai.
Madhavaram. It's being evaluated, sir. We'll be getting the results very soon.
I think the 2 points what you made, quick response on them. One is you talked about technology development using a cluster kind of approach, or basically you can say technology brokering. If you look at the concept of incubation, the incubatee becomes a beneficiary of this, what you're asking for. So if you're doing this activity all by yourself, if an MSME or a startup comes up and he says that I want this particular technology, then obviously all these activities you will have to do it by yourself. When you are there in the incubation space, that is the place where the facilities of an incubator are available to you. They may have a tie-up with domain experts. They may have a tie-up with experts on regulatory compliances. So all those facilities are available at one place. So in my opinion, what I suggest is, because if you look at the scientific community to do research, at the same time obtain those regulatory compliances, and then give you a ready-made solution, then what is that which rests with you as an issue? Because point is that he should be free from doing these activities. He is into your core fundamental research, he should do that. At the end of it, if we find benefit, because no product gets made out of one technology. Today, you have a concept of technology brokering where multiple technologies makes one product. So it is your idea, your vision, wherein you will have to realize either you have the strength in you or you take the support of domain experts. So who are first of all domain experts with respect to the product what you have in mind? A simple thing like, I can say someone is talking about the milk testing kit. Milk testing kit, in that he has got one strip based testing of a milk, but there are very many things which goes into it. It means there is a requirement of instrumentation, there is a requirement of I would say the technology to do this. Then you will be able to come out with a final product. But to say that the one who has given you this technology for milk testing will be able to realize that product for you may not be feasible. Regulatory compliances, he will not be able to give it to you. So who can do this? If you are part of an incubator, yes, they can do it. Otherwise, we will have to assign these activities to ourselves and do it. Once we have, because otherwise, what will happen is that industry will get a complete ready-made thing. Then it is only for you to put up a plant and then produce this item. The challenge lies in the fact that we need to also take those regulatory compliances approval. For that, we are also in the process of engaging domain experts which are available. Once the technologies gets assigned to you, this is what I was talking about. It should not be mere transfer of a technology to a licensee. The value addition also should be available through NRDC. So we are in the process of doing that, wherein the network of domain experts which are available can be utilized by you. By you means by the industry for doing this activity. So it means whether you do it physically or you do it virtually, that option is with you. Today, we have created a incubation space at NRDC where there are virtual incubators which are available. So they become beneficiary of this entire network which is available at NRDC. So I think that approach we will have to follow. But we may not be able to get this from the scientific community.
Sir, actually the validation can be done by us, sir. But what happens is that when a product comes to the pilot scale, there should be some data available to substantiate the claim. See, I'm developing technology. If I say it works for me, it should work for anybody else. So that data should be available with them so that when we go for the batch productions, the regulatory will calculate and evaluate only the kits which we are manufactured. That is the trial batches. To evaluate the trial batches, we should be having a data which is available from the research community because we are taking the technology which they have substantiating. Because without that data, if you go and give them this technology, it may work or it may not work. Like it's not a gold standard one because every technology is innovative of its own. So there is no scale or any measurement levels for evaluating this. So the evaluation only is based on the previous studies and the data available with them and the publications and other things. So, those data are available, it's easy for us. Because regularly we give the 3 batches and give the previous results, they will evaluate and give us the regulatory compliances. But without the previous data, if we go blindly with these 3 batches, there is no scale to evaluate it. That is a difficulty we are facing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on this account that certainly this data, in my opinion, I think should be available with the scientific community. And especially at the time of, because when you're doing transferring a technology, you're transferring a know-how. And what all things are there part of the know-how? This should be one of those things. So if you have anything specific to contribute to this?
Yes, I agree with you, sir. Already, the directors has given enough word to entrepreneur. NRDC is giving the backup support for marketing, and NAIM is all the time ready to work after the translation of the product, after the transfer of technology, to work into translate the product for a commercial purpose. So backup work, whatever is required in laboratory for scaling up and testing, intermittent testing, all those facilities and all those back work is being continuously provided. And we are happy to see that we will work and so that it is coming inside the market. That is always open.
Yes, sir. And I have one more request from NRE, sir, because I have sent some mails to Sadhu sir also. Because when we go to the Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
But if you have any generic something to be made, to make one, I think so the time is limited.
Sure, sir.
One-on-one issues with an analysis, I think you can discuss it first.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay. Now I request Dr. Tanuja Krishnamurthy.
Dr.
Dr.
Tanuja?
Tanuja Krishnamurthy, primarily you from Mrs. Vectrogen Biological Private Limited, Hyderabad. You may share your views on the subject.
Hello. Thank you for inviting for this session. I think it's a timely one to foster academic and industrial collaboration. So we had signed an MOU with NIOT through NRDC in sometime late 2019 for the production of lutein from chlorella. The biggest challenge I see in commercializing this product is we had to validate it in producing chlorella on larger scale, and NIOT had said that they can do it at Pamanji in the Nellore site for the production. But there have been numerous challenges in completing this, and it is basically not much progression has been done, sadly, because of issues that sometimes are beyond the control of us, more like natural calamities. There were a lot of rains, floods, and COVID. And so any issues, mechanical or electrical issues that were already present there, they could not be rectified because of the distance from Chennai. So looking back for the last 2 years, I would feel that the Pamanji one is just too far from Chennai, and all the experts are sitting in Chennai. So it is a logistical issue. And going forward, I would say that somebody else also pointed before me, if they can validate that in Chennai itself on campus, that would have saved us a lot of time because entrepreneurs, our company, Vectrogen, is a bootstrap company. And so time is of essence, especially if you have to commercialize the product being bootstrapped. So I would definitely urge your policymakers at NRPC and NIOT to revisit and see how successful your pilot plant at Pamanji has been and how productive it has been, so that we could overcome this issue of logistics and issue, I think, and so that it could have speeded up things and hastened the things. The other question I have, a general one, a more generic one, is that we had approached for funding, not in chlorella, but other algae, to BIRAC, BID. And I was suggested that I should go to Ayush. And Ayush covers more homeopathy, Ayurveda, and Siddha, but there's nothing on algae. But they asked me to apply in the early days. And when I went to NABARD actually for funding, they couldn't find an expert to do a DPR report for me. And then when I went to NFDB, they are very interested in producing nutritious, highly protein diet. Their mission is that. But unfortunately, algae is not considered, especially if you take spirulina. It has like 65% protein, but it is not considered, it doesn't come under NFDB purview. And but seaweed is. And so unfortunately, funding is becoming an issue for algae. Given that, 21 of the 30 cities in the world are in India, most polluted cities, and there's a climate challenge, and there's undernourishment and malnourishment. And I think algae should be given more importance by the government so that, there are more incentives and more funding available to cover algae. So, and also I think there should be more market awareness because in the community, use of algae is not that much and people are not aware, although it is increasing now. But I hope that in the future there could be more awareness so that people can consume more of algal products. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Tanuja. I think I just summarized the quick points what you made. One is that I think you talked about specifically with regards to the logistical issue which you're facing with respect to the technology which got assigned from NIOT. basically he talked about, I think, the same point what was made by Mr. Karthik, that the validation of technology before licensing. So this is a common point which is generally emerging, and quite agree with you that only a mature technology with sufficient data is the one should be made available primarily before licensing. And with regards to the funding,
Can I just interrupt on that one? I don't think it's a validation, but it is more like a JV kind of a thing, where they were kind enough, NIOT, to say that they can produce using the larger ponds, which holds the capacity is much higher, for like 25,000 liters. So it was more than validation. It was more like a joint venture for 1 year. So I don't think it's a question of validation that they have already done in the lab. So I don't think there's any issue with the validation. Yeah.
Okay, understood. I thought from your point that you were looking for validation, but only thing is this kind of arrangement, because as of now we are discussing the systemic issues which are affecting commercialization. So the specific, I think what you have, we need to draw out a lesson out of this. So what you're saying is that in case you're looking for a support through an inventor or the research community regarding usage of the pilot plant which we already have, so that's a one-on-one arrangement which on a case-to-case basis can be tried out. But largely, this is a setting up of a plant becomes the responsibility of the one who takes the license. And an inventor basically would help you in terms of transferring that know-how, which is required to be scaled up at your end, because he has done it on a pilot case basis. But if you have to scale up the production, so that activity wherein the value addition of designing it in basic engineering design package has to be done maybe through an RDC and along with the person who's implementing it on ground. And with regards to creating more market awareness for usage of algae-based product, yes. But who will do this? It's a policy change which you're talking about basically at the level of the government. But once it is something like that, you have taken a technology and it becomes part of not only the production but the marketing of this, and the brand visibility becomes an integral to the functioning of an industry. And especially policy level change, yes, it can be taken up with the respective ministry. We can write to them, but there has to be a kind of unified approach to this. But till the time that happens, I think the responsibility of branding and marketing has to rest with, I would say, the one who is a recipient of this technology. Right. Thank you, Dr. Tanuja. We'll move on to Dr. S. Gunananda Selvam, Managing Director, Mrs. Ecobel Corporate Private Limited from Bangalore, for him to share his views.
Yeah. Happy morning. This is Dr. Gunananda Selvam. We are into field of water and wastewater treatments, and we do projects for different industries like textile, dairy, and the electronic, and for also the food industries where lot of oil and fat which comes out for meat packing industries and all, we are in catering into it. And we would like to thank NIOT and NRDC for giving us two technologies. One is biosurfactant from marine bacteria for environmental cleanup systems. This technology we are using in different places. For example, I want to quote this is BIAL International. This is the Bangalore International Airport. We are using it where the oil pileup is very much in the labor colonies. So we have taken the sample and sent it to NIOT, and we got the technology where it can treat. So I had one question saying that what is the cost of per kg production into it? The cost also, it comes very economical because we are giving in the solid state. The cost is between 40,000 to 5 lakhs rupees it cost per kg. It is how it is means, because the cost comes when the concentration is there. Because the concentration is 20 mg per liter, which is there present in the oil concentration, the cost is reduced. When the oil concentration goes up to 100, 150, the cost again, because the validation comes there. And again, when we saw this in different, because we are working in Taj, We have also married. So we have put this product there and we have got very good results in this. When I coming to the second part of the technology, what I have is this biosurfactant from marine bacteria for cleaning up for the oil spill bioremediation works. So this also we have started working on it, but still it is in the initial stage where what we are doing is we are going to different ports wherever it is and we are approaching them and we are saying that this is the technology available. And we have already met Vishakhapatnam Port Trust and NMPT, where we are working on how we can put this, which is called as expression of interest. Because we can see that there are so many technologies available in the market to treat the oil spill. But how our technology is unique, we need to explain to the client, understand the technology, and it is not that somebody is giving for 100 rupees, I should give for 100 rupees. It is not like that. Because the quantum of oil bioradiation from our technology depends upon the kgs of crude oil reduction. So because of that, we need to meet people and we are working on this. And yes, we are having very good results and we'll be having our own expression of interest. So that this is my product, this is my price. So we are working on it, we are taking some more time. And what I would request from the NRDC is, since at the initial stage we have taken this technology from you and we are putting our all efforts to meeting different peoples. We are going from here to south to north everywhere. So now because when the marketing is done, if the other peoples come in and easily take this technology, and our efforts also go waste. So how you can protect us to certain extent? It is not that you have to protect us completely. To certain extent, that is because we have put in our things in. Because when all certifications done, everything product is ready, people will come in. I will take. Because the efforts we have put in, so that I think you should go in the merit of this, what I request the team to do that. And the other thing is, yes, the certificates we need to put in place. Because wherever we go, the certificates are there. This is in process and I think we are also in part of supporting the team by the production of the product and giving the support to the team. And I think we will take up this.
Yeah, okay. Yes, yeah, thank you, Salam. I think certification part, there was some delay actually from, not exactly from our side, actually for your oil remediation product, actually Coast Guard is a nodal agency for India, and then Coast Guard has some sort of a taking the study from the NAIM Goa for approval. And there were issues with the NAIM Goa. That's beyond actually ours. Now I think we sorted out and then we are sending the sample. Probably that by this March end, we should get the certification part ready. I think once that comes, I think that rest of things will roll. Yeah. I think, one point of certification, Dr. Sudhakar has already covered and conveyed to you. But with regards to protecting you from competition, it is, as I look at it, one is that the country of our size, there is enough and more which is available for everyone. Earlier, we thought with the malls coming in, the local vendor will lose the business, but that's not the case. Competition, in my opinion, is healthy. It will certainly help you to remain on your toes and also keep giving the quality product. Yes, the one who takes up the technology initially and he puts in hard work, but that hard work remains your IP. It does not get passed on to your competitor. Yes, the hard work what you have done in terms of taking certification, only thing what it has done is it has conveyed to the people that there is a potential in this technology. And then they say, yes, he is making money. He has reached out to so many people, so let me also start a business. That's the only advantage which he gets. It means you go through the pains of going through the steps of establishing yourself, and someone seeing your success, he joins the bandwagon. But for him to become successful, he'll have to go through those steps by himself.
Yeah, so when the product is available in the market, because in the production stage, we see that so many changes is coming up. See, for example, when we start the initial stage of production at 10 kgs, 20 kgs, the cost is different, and we find an alternative to that. How we can bring the cost down. So when that is done and kept it ourselves, and it's for the others, it will become easy for them to.
Okay, Selvam, I tell you, once the product is approved, actually, there are two things I'm doing it. One, because I should not tell you in such a big form. Actually, NIOT is going to become a nodal agency for approving these products in future. That I made sure. What Coast Guard is asked me is whether you give your data, we'll approve it. It has come to that stage. But still, we are sending our sample to the NIO for certification. So I'm going through the both. Cost part is, I think it's going to be a problem because end of the day, according to me, what matters is cost. If you have one ton of crude, how much cost it's going to get to clean it up. So probably we have to work with different vendors to find out how we can reduce it because you may be having a very good technology, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, cost matters in the industry. Because the person who is going to take a contract from the harbor or somewhere for cleaning the oil, he will actually take it for the L1 only. That's how it goes. So we need to find how to we become a comparative one. That's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I hope the answer is clear.
Yes.
Because I think at the end of it, the responsibility of doing this will have to be there with you. Because in what way we'll be able to help you out in terms of the costing, I'm not sure. So we are helping it. Somewhere we are helping him. So
but as an individual,
what I think we're talking about as a generic point. As a generic point, it is one should be the one who is giving the license technology. He should be impartial to all the people who are taking technologies from them. Because it is being given on a non-exclusive basis, not on an exclusive basis. So all the recipients of the technology should be treated at par. So to say that you can do this for one, so it is basically your quality, your branding, your reach out that will help you in scaling up your business. In terms of giving support from, I would say R&D community, specifically to one, I don't think so. May not be practical. Okay. We'll reach out to Dr. Bharat Sumireddy. He is founder and CEO of Mrs. Cosmos Biotech, Bangalore. Is he online or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He is virtual. Yeah.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Bharat. So I'm the founder of Cosmos Biotech. We would like to thank NIOT for organizing this workshop. And also, we are very grateful for NIOT for offering us the technology to produce ectoin from Indian halophilic bacteria. So yes, first of all, we would like to share a good news. We got a big grant from the call 19 from Iraq. So we worked pretty hard for last 2 years. So this particular molecule ectoin. We were working since 2019, and then so when we were working this particular molecule, we thought is any Indian group working on this particular molecule? And the first institute which was popped up was NIOT, and we were very great to NIOT because handling such kind of project itself is very novelty. So then we contacted NIOT, and then NIOT gave us this particular. We were already started producing ectoin from different source, but this particular source of ectoin production is unique among Indian halophytes. So we are very thankful to them. So I have few questions related to the project. So it is the project is the technology is transferred from NIOT through NRDC, and now because we are in good shape having the government grant, we wanted to answer a few questions. Say for example, this particular molecule is produced in India for first time. So we are in a mode of little confusion where this particular molecule belongs to the drug or non-drug? These kind of questions, it's difficult for us to answer, through because the channel, the channel, like for example, NRDC. If NRDC could help us, to connect a concerned regulatory affairs, from India, with our company, it will be easy for us to approach such a body, to take inputs from them, because it is the first, it is the first molecule to be exported from India. We would like to have, at particular stage, the license, the clearance of regulatory affairs. So at this stage, would NRDC or NIOT could help us? That is our first question. And the second question is, we are so glad that NRDC did peer survey, before the technology is transferred from NIOT. So would NRDC still able to help us to find out, the potential customers in India as well as in abroad? So yeah, these two questions are.
Yeah. I think, Dr. Bharat, I think wherever there is a regulation issues are there, I think we'll be there to get them cleared, because that's how system functions. Whenever there's any big government agency is a part of that form, whatever we fill up, I think things will be much easier. So I think regulations part we will take care. I think market survey, I think NRDC does it. So.
Sir, I can't hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I was saying is that as part of the value addition, what we do to a technology will get assigned to NRDC, market survey is one part of it.
Yes, sir.
Which we do it on a case-to-case basis, not necessarily for all technologies. If it is a high-value technologies and there is a requirement, that exercise is undertaken. I think what I understood from you is that after the technology has got assigned to you, you have gone into production. After that, in order to find clients or the customer, you are seeking NRDC's help. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
If that be so, I would suggest, because this has to be an activity, in my opinion, should happen before. Before we take a plunge, we should know what is the market size which we are looking at.
Yes, sir.
So once the technology is transferred,
yes,
as I was earlier also mentioning, there's the responsibility of marketing, branding, which becomes an integral part of the business.
Absolutely.
Has to be managed by the entity themselves.
Okay.
Because to find clients, it becomes part of your approach towards marketing that product.
Absolutely.
To get the technology, first of all, initially when you, so that is the stage I think one has to be clear what is the kind of market share which we are going to acquire.
Okay.
Potential of this technology.
Yes, sir.
But once it is acquired and it is there with you, I assume that is a very thought out approach. With that, you have gone into this.
Okay.
So, post assigning, post production, that's activity should rest with the respective, I think, the production entity. But before that itself, if one wants to know, should I go ahead with this technology transfer? And if there is a need, then an RDC certainly can play a part.
Okay.
That is what my recommendation would be, because otherwise it's a very open-ended exercise that I have gone into production without knowing what is the market size which you're looking at.
No. That's absolutely correct. Because the question why I asked you is, because NRDC already gave a survey report. So we already we are in a mindset that the particular X and Y companies are having this particular molecule now, not from India but from abroad. So we are still thinking that NRDC have good hands with them. The customers which they have done survey. So if possible, yeah, if possible.
Yeah, what I understood is, yes, as far as using a network, because we are also, as far as the Indian customers are concerned, you are at it.
Yes.
You are looking at basically taking it primarily abroad.
Yeah.
And in that case, yes, we are also having, we are developing our networks primarily in ASEAN countries,
Yeah.
also in African countries, and I would say European countries.
Absolutely.
So these networks, especially just to give you an insight into this, for ASEAN countries, we are looking after the research innovation component of this ASEAN countries.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah,
there is
that network will help us.
certainly, by all means, and if you have heard that initial address which I made, in that we said that we will use all means available at our disposal to pitch the technologies which are there with our licensees.
Okay.
So we have certain mediums which I talked about, and we can certainly take it to these countries as well.
Okay. Wonderful.
We can put it on our portal, and also whenever we have those interactions with those networks, we are in the process of signing our agreements with ADO,
Yeah.
and we have engagements with USPTO. So they become, and also maybe with the EDA, Economic Development Agencies of New Jersey. So these are tools which we can utilize for promoting the technologies, whosoever is keen in doing it. So that way, yes, you have a platform available, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Yes. Now we'll request, I may not be able to pronounce the name quite correctly, Dr. Jojesian. Am I correct? Yeah. Rocherian. Okay. Of Mrs. Amtu Life Sciences from Mumbai.
Sir, good morning. Thanks for giving the opportunity. Sir, I'm relatively new and new to license the technology, so I may not be the right person to comment on the issues, but I have few observations which I would like to submit it if I am permitted to do so.
Yes, please.
So, in terms of the licensing the technology, what I have seen is that it is routed through NRDC. In that case, the licensee may not get the opportunity to interact with the scientists who worked on this particular technology before licensing the product. My suggestion is that if that opportunity is given, it will instill confidence on the licensee on the process. Because once after licensing, the product needs to be scaled up, which includes studying the equipments or foreseeing the equipments needed in doing the process. So interaction will help in a better way. In my case, I got the opportunity to interact with NIOT scientists, so that was useful. So that opportunity is given for other technologies as well. That will help me in looking at licensing few more technologies from through NRDC. So that is one humble request from my side. The second point is that once the licensing is done, there should be one point contact that can help in easing the communication and also probably in commercializing the technology. So these are the two suggestions from my side. If it is valuable, then you can please consider it.
I think very valuable suggestion. There is no denying that fact because we want this activity to be successful. And as we always say, the customer is king. And here you are the recipient of this, the technology. Unless you are comfortable with it, this activity should not proceed. So obviously, as you said, there is a single point of contact. So the single point of contact gets created at NRDC and with whom you have an interaction. And subsequently during that hand-holding phase, because the know-how obviously and the demonstration of the technology happens through the scientist. But what you're suggesting is that if there is a requirement of an interaction which is specifically sought by the licensee, that I don't think so there is any hard and fast rule to this. That always can be arranged. The way we are doing the demonstration of the technology and participation in you can say the pilot plant trials, this activity before licensing can also happen. It is not a mandatory step to go by because it is based on the comfort level of the licensee. He can say that I need more information and there is a requirement for me to interact with the research community. By all means, that can be, and it's a very, very valid point and it should be encouraged. And single point of contact certainly is for the purpose of licensing is NRDC, and that is what my endeavor also is to strengthen that part so that we provide you can say one-stop shop for all the needs of the licensee. Thank you very much, I think, for the valid points what you've made.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now I request Dr. Sheshadri, Director Satyabama Technology Business Incubator from Chennai. Oh, thank you so much, sir. Two corrections. One is my initial is yes, not 80 also. Second thing, I'm not director, I'm only advisor for this technology business incubator. Right. Second thing, I have captured few points for discussion. I'm the only person sitting here, if I'm right, not as also as an entrepreneur, academia, researcher, and also with the corporate exposure. So I think I can give little more information on this because having interacted with many entrepreneurs in terms of startups also, I see this everybody is working in silos. We talk about TRL to IRL, but there is in between something another RL called MRL. Technology readiness level, manufacturing readiness level, in the IRL we have three IRLs: industry readiness level, integration readiness level, investment readiness level. Every level readiness levels has different stages. So are we capturing every technology in terms of the, say for example, TRL if we say, because if we are talking in the research ecosystem, when we talk about research laboratory, mostly we can't talk much about TRLs, but we can more of research levels only. Not even TRLs we will see, right? We research levels. So after coming to certain levels of research levels, we go to level of technology readiness levels. So in that case, whether there is a strength or expertise or wherewithal for the organizations to evaluate the technologies according to the levels also are important. Even here I've seen talking about entrepreneurs talking about all kind of problems. But I don't want to blame the entrepreneurs because I'm also an investor. I'm also sitting as an entrepreneur here. I'm also investing in two different biotechnology companies. That is different case. But the thing is, most of the time, onus lies in the entrepreneurs taking the technologies. But we never took the technologies. We are the developer of technologies. Our investment companies. That is different. Now, most of the time, even CMD and also director talking about building and eating. Most of the time, all people talk about just going to a cake shop, pay the money and buying the technology, using it just like that. Eating it. It's not the case. Technology, as Dr. Dharani observed, they can do only up to certain levels. After that, it has to go through certain different levels. It has to be handled by the organizations, or the entrepreneurs, or the corporation, who we call it as. So here I just want to do things, linkage between individual, as a researcher, as an entrepreneur, organization, enabling ecosystem, collaborations, and all these things play a major role in satiating the expectations of the entrepreneurs. So I have listed many things I don't want to go into, but one paper I just want to highlight. Recently I read it. Of course, it's a very simple paper, not much to say. There are a number of papers come out. There's a journal called P1000 Research in 2015 is appeared by Nathan Vandervoort and Elizabeth Masilkowski, two authors, who have a case study of impediments to the commercialization of research at the University of Kentucky. But the subjects they study is also very less, three studied. But the questions they asked are very much important. I've seen the impediments. I can even share this on also, it's open source available. The very interesting thing, the questions they asked is, there's answers also, not to worry much about the answer. The questions, are there unwanted risks associated with commercialization? So these are the questions to be also answered by the transferring organizations or the developing organizations so that it's easier for them to say, this is where the stage we are. This is what the stage we can. Even TRL also we can say. People said there's a requirement for licensing. There's a requirement of testing all these things, validation all these things. It has to be completed within TRL 9 itself. Otherwise, there is no point in transferring technology to the person also. If you completed TRL, you would have completed the trials also. You would have completed the licensing also. You would have completed the, certifications also. Then only you can go to the MRL level. Then only the question of IRLs come, integration or industry or investments comes. So that requires institutional process setting is important. Every institution should have a process set for technology commercialization. So the steps has to be understood by everyone. And the process means where to start. Say, for example, a research institute starts means they start your research somewhere in small level. I'm also a researcher. One leg is my research. So I start with a very small level. Example, the journey was showing the bacteria. So bacteria they isolate. And after they screen only they get to know what kind of product it is producing. So still it is only in the research level. Then only they go to the level of scale production. It could be 10 ml to 100 ml to 150 ml to 100,000 liters to something like that goes something like that, right? But only certain levels they can understand that there is a possibility for them to take it to the commercialization level also. So that means every step has to be, say for example, Dr. Dharani, example I'm giving since we are present there, he says there is a case for us to take it to commercialization. So immediately the process should set in and notion saying that exactly we are in TRL, TRL3 or TRL4 or TRL7. So that's important. Once that is set, automatically it will move the ladder. So we can even set the goals for this also based on the TRLs. What should be done? Who will be our collaborators? And what could be the investment systems available? Or say, for example, just now we were talking to CNB also before this. Why not? Instead, if you don't have an internal mechanism, because I was also heading another organization in my previous avatar. So we never had the wherewithal, even we transfer technology to NRDC. It was some 30 years back, right? So like that, even licensing cost. And all these things also varies accordingly. This area, the questions are very valid. Every questions, there is an excessive expense, lack of investors. So all these things like that, if you answer all these questions, we will get to know what is there, and are we somewhere in the level of transfer the technology or not. Now, since because we have spent a lot of money, even there's a question, even there are some of the ICR institutes also after me asking, there are also questions from other institutions saying that they are not getting approvals for some of the technologies from the higher levels. I don't want to tell that also. I'm just giving an example. One example I'm giving. They said we fixed the cost of technology 25 lakhs. There are no buyers. How shall we sell it now? But we have wonderful technology. They don't have answers. Internal mechanism is not supporting them. There is another case I can tell you. A professor retired from the university came and asked me, sir, I have submitted a lot of patents. I have some technologies. Now I'm retired. I want to monetize all these patents. How shall I do it? Necessarily, this is also not known to most of the scientists. So once they are out of the system, the patent lies with the organization, not with the individuals. This also happens some of the time. I just wanted to go this is out of the discussion part. So I'm just saying that I'm just giving importance to setting the process internally in every institution is more important. And of course, they also can find out which levels they can move or join hands with other organizations. Why I'm giving this COVID period, I'll just complete in half a minute, not more than that. In this COVID time, 2020-21, we have evaluated more than 3,000 ideas across the country in a different platform, I would say. Like we joined hands with CSA and IIT and Guru Foundation and other organizations. We joined hands. 3,000 we evaluated. Out of this 3,000, we could only decipher 400 for presentation. Out of this 400, we got at least 150 presented over a period of 12 months time, 12 to 16 months time. Right? And we could be able to come to a level of identifying only 2 technologies out of this, that at the level of TRL4. And I see most of the people are ambitious. So that also has to be worked out. So with this, I stop here. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Maybe we can discuss this later. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shadri. I think very valid points you have made. It is something like if you have to do a particular thing, there has to be a structured approach to this. And ad hoc approach doesn't help. So the responsibility, as you rightly said, there are 3 stakeholders in this entire exercise. The one who creates the technology, ones who transfer the technology, and ones who wants to adopt the technology. So the responsibility of all these 3 people is quite, I would say, defined to an extent that everyone does a specific job. And there has to be it is like a relay race. The handing over has to correctly happen for the next activity to happen. If we take a shortcut in this, then obviously the one who is the final recipient of this, he gets affected. No one else in the chain gets affected. He's the one who gets affected. So shouldn't it be the responsibility of the one? He should take a deliberate step in getting the technologies, in getting the technology transferred to himself, not be in a hurry, and ensure that these steps are taken. He has to ensure it, because when we go to buy a particular product, we ask some number of questions from the people, whether it is C certified, whether the certification is there in place, whether will I get a warranty support for this. We ask too many questions because we are spending money to this. Here also is spending money in terms of taking a technology that's assigned, or I would say licensed to him. Yes, that once he asks these questions, or I would say those uncomfortable questions, the people in the chain should be able to answer those things. So there should be a system, as you rightly said, in many organizations, built around this to be able to answer those questions. I think during our morning discussion, we also were talking about the TRL assessment itself is an issue. If there is a correct certified, there is some agency who does this TRL assessment independently and say that this technology has reached so and so level. Someone has to assess this and then communicate saying that yes, now it is ready for commercialization. Commercialization possibly cannot happen in between. So that is where I think there is a requirement for everyone to develop that kind of strength, what they are responsible for, handhold, and then pass it on to the ultimate, I would say, licensing. 2 points I would flag here, sir. One is, it is even there are a lot of organizations sitting there talking about all these things. Go to Forbes, they will talk about market assessment, but the cost of market assessments is huge. Nobody can spend that money also. So it all depends on the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs should know the risk. And I would say the young entrepreneurs, they should go more towards development than acquiring technologies. That is also an important requirement, one thing. And second thing I would say here is, we can't even fix TRLs also. TRLs also may vary from individual to individual, organization to organization also. The perception varies. We can say that it is TRL at our level is different from TRL at other levels. That's what I'm coming to. See, one product could be, I'm saying I'm ready, but if the product is go to the market, there are so many other regulations are required. That's right. Way the risk organization can do it. So everywhere the regulations, bottlenecks will keep coming and we need to keep solving and move on. But by every technology, there is no one hard and fast rule that this is the way. I fully agree. So every technology changes. I fully agree. It's something like, nurturing a child and giving it for a marriage. Right? You know the potential of the child, or girl or boy. Right? After marriage, they know how to grow to the next levels. But we have to also certain levels nurture them to say that this is where we are. Right? We are given education, we are given good health, we are given all kind of support systems. Let's come to see. Don't give it. No. So more sessions are there. Right. Keep discussing. I think when I intend, but if you will close this, I think I would say very fact that discussion is happening, it means there are issues which can be talked about. So you have flagged those issues. It means these are the pillars on which we can have further discussion, maybe some offline discussions. Because of the paucity of time, I think what I suggested will let me quickly summarize as to what we have discussed so far. I think everyone has talked about regulatory compliance. We talked about data from before licensing, which should be generated and given. Validate the technology before licensing. Some marketing support we talked about, that is or it means there should be a market survey report which should be available primarily before licensing. Good point made by Dr. Purchasing is interaction with the researcher should be facilitated, and one point of contact for licensees. And Dr. Sheshadri certainly talked about, I think, structured approach to this exercise. It means correct TRL assessment and structured process for commercialization. So there are a couple of takeaways. And since this activity has been happening, it means there is I would say there is a method in madness which is already in place, but it is for us to optimize this process so that the one who is receiving it should not, for him, it should not become a fait accompli. So with this, we rest the discussions for this particular session here. And thank Dr. Sudhakar and the team basically for this opportunity for, I would say, the open discussion which we have had in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Perspectives, because it is need of the hour to understand TRL, MRL, IRL, and also IPRL. So thank you, Chairman Sir, taking time, and also thank you all the industry leader who have given their opinion input. Certainly, we will make it into and also take into a next level. So with the paucity of time, I will certainly grateful to all of you on behalf of the organizing committee. Now, and also I am grateful to our chairman for giving this opportunity in connecting the dot. And we will move to the next session. And that next session is on opportunity of collaboration from invention, information to innovation. We have with us the leader who lead this NIOT. We had a great collaboration and also national awardee, and also today we were awarded. Congratulations to Dr. Atmanan sir. It is an honor for us to have you, and still you are leading in scientific community in many invention and innovation. So we will be chairing, and also at the same time I have been asked by Dr. Tata to also take over as a co-chair because of to manage the time. Because time is important and lunch is important because we all recovered from COVID. So we need food on time. So without taking any time, we have a representative to represent one of the regulatory in the changing paradigm of innovation ecosystem is IPR. We have a lot of challenge. We have Mr. T.V. Madhusudan, former Deputy Controller of Patent, Trademark and Design. Sir, with your permission, so I will address the session, sir, please.
Thank you very much, and very happy to be there as chair. Coming to after 1.5 years due to COVID, I was not coming at all. Even when they invited me, I was still taking part in meetings only in online mode. Now, I would like to compliment the team of earlier under Dr. Prabhakaran, right now under Dharmi and Vineet, who has been really doing an excellent job in marine biotechnology. And I found that when the over is directed in 2009, Dr. Tata Sudhakar would be the best person to interact with NRDC and get things moving. So we had a very good marriage between engineering and marine biotechnology. And thus we have, I heard this morning that I heard that more than 25 technologies have been transferred, and that's a really a great success. I would compliment the complete team. I mean, I know mostly almost everybody I know, except maybe the people who have joined recently, I may not know. The team at Andamans also, they have been doing excellent job. So let us move forward, and I feel that the incubation center, which was started just before I retired. I mean, Tata was insistent that it should start just before I retired, and I'm sure that you all will contribute towards that, and we will have a very good starting the invention, then the incubation and the innovation to move forward. So many things are very important. Some of the things which I had in mind is some simple things which we say when you go to a big hotel and all, they say that don't put your the towels etc. for washing unless it is essential because you are polluting the water. It is because of soap. So are there any ways and means? I used to throw such challenges to these people and they used to do it also. I threw one challenge of marine bioplastic, and I think that Vineet and team in Andamans have done it. And similarly, the challenge which was for this oil pollution, which I think they have done it. Because I don't know anything about biology. I am a pakka hardcore engineer, so I don't know that, but I can throw questions and they used to come up with solutions, which I really appreciate. So one more challenge, even though I'm not the director, I'm just giving you one more challenge is for pollution reduction in the soap through using soap. So, I mean, with this introduction, I would once again thank all the members who have come from various industry, and NRDC has been really, I mean, supporting NIOT. So we will start quickly because we have got already more than 40 minutes delay we are starting. So the first talk is by Dr. T.V. Madhusudan, Deputy Controller of Patents. Sorry, Dr. Sharan Gowda, Deputy Controller of Patents. We will just stick to maybe some 3 to 4 minutes because we have to have some interaction. So please keep only 3 to 4 minutes. If you don't stop on your own, I may be forced, I may have to force you to stop it. Sorry for that.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. So, respected chair and the delegates who are here for this academic and industrial meet, especially on marine biotechnology. I am Dr. Sharan Gowda. I am working as though sir has given promotion as a deputy controller, but I am assistant controller. So, and heading the biotechnology division in Patent Office, Chennai. So it is very interesting to listen and see the first session which Amit Rastogi sir has chaired. So, and with the perspective of Patent Office, so we want to facilitate while as NRDC is doing excellent job in transfer of technologies. We had so many deliberations from Dr. B.K. Sahu when we met him in Denmark. So those are excellent. So this, with the respect to the Patent Office perspective, so since 2016 we are proactively increasing our schemes and facilitations towards protection of your innovations. So you are, this is a, there are a lot of opportunities. I think many speakers may speak on those opportunities for the inventions and incubation to innovations. So once you are having an invention, so we are here to facilitate how you can protect your inventions. So for that, Government of India has mainly done so to encourage the startups, SME, MSME, even academic researchers from government and private. So all this we have done 80% reduction in the fee. So we are expecting that, so the protection may facilitate you to protect your innovations. So apart from that, we Patent Office were said about the pendency. 10 years back, we had a lot of pendency because of we were understaffed. Now we are working with 800 officers in Patent Office in different levels, examiners and controllers. So we are almost, the backlog is zero, I can say, except in some technology fields. But we have reduced the examination timing taken for the inventions, all these things. So with that also we started with the expedited examination, mainly for startup and the other government, whether it is academic or whether it is any department of government, they are eligible for getting the expedited examination, which in 8 months you can protect your invention in India. So that much fast. Earlier it used to be almost more than 3 years. Now we are reduced to 8 months. So also we have started with the SIPP scheme, which is facilitating even because some startups may face the financial crunch, and in that they may have issues in drafting the patent specifications. That may, as per the requirement of Patent Office, they can choose any patent agent which as a facilitator we have published in their names. So the fees for the agent will be borne by, that is 20,000, 10,000 plus 10,000. So it will be borne by the Patent Office. So these are the main important schemes. Apart from that, we are expecting from academicians and industrial, from especially domestic, because India is having approximately this year we are crossing 60,000. Otherwise, we will be around 50 to 60 always in many years. So in that 75% we are receiving from outside India. So we want our Government of India's the main task is to increase the domestic filings from 25% to 30% in between. So we want more than 50% should be protecting the innovations, whatever that, so it will be in India. So we have started so many schemes, if any of them, so any other academic and industrials, you can take the help of those schemes. And I want to say from this meet, so we are facilitating, we are now looking forward you people to have protect your innovations in global environment, take advantage of this, the protected markets. That's what. So thank you, Chair, for giving me.
Thank you, Dr. Belda, and all of you should be really taking this initiative and please during lunchtime exchange cards with him because he is a person who really supports you. So that's very, very important. So we will move on. The next is Dr. S. Babu, Managing Director.
Sir,
Is yours, please.
very good morning, all of you. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer NAIM for giving this opportunity. I'm Dr. Babu. I'm proprietor of this company, Mahadi Biotech. About my company, we are manufacturing. It's a small entrepreneurship company. We are manufacturing. It's a small entrepreneurship company. We are manufacturing algal-based bioproducts such as seaweed biostimulant, aquaculture feed, some bioplastics, and we got recently we got patent bioplastic from seaweeds and some cosmetic products. So our office section, our production unit situated in Velu. So we have requirements here. We are looking for the technology biosurfactant for oil degradation. First thing is, and second one is we have developed recently we developed one seaweed based cattle food, which is useful for the methane emission reduction. So Indian coastal has there is a lot of seaweeds available. One brown seaweed is able to reduce the methane emission up to 80%. So we are using this brown seaweed in this process. So regarding this, we request the innovative if any facility. So we need to fine tune. First of all, we need to fine tune this product. So regarding this, we request innovative if any facility like incubation center is available, it will be helpful for us. This is our requirement. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Babu. I request we need to microphone.
Whether you need experimentation facility or something like that.
Yes.
What do you want exactly? Experimental facility. For example, how much methane it is released.
Yeah, that's
not something like that.
How much the physical analysis.
Okay.
Analysis.
Microchemical analysis we can do.
Okay, sir.
But methane emission we have to go through this. For that specially we have to design our this one. Yes, sir. Experiments. Okay.
Maybe you can take it up offline.
Yes,
I'm sure that NIT will be able to support you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for the innovative ideas.
Thank you so much.
Now let us move on to Dr. Shankar, Director, Biotech Bags India Private Limited. Please, are you online? Dr. Shankar, please. Dr. Shankar, can you hear? Is there? No, we'll come back to Dr. Shankar later on. We'll move to Mr. Vikrant Chauhan, Director, Extended Reality Private Limited, Bangalore, is on virtual mode. Dr. Vikrant, please.
Yes, so thanks for this opportunity and hello to everyone who is there. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please increase your volume, please. Go ahead, sir.
Come close to the mic.
Yeah.
Is it fine now?
Vikrant, we can't hear you. Probably we'll come back to Dr. Vikrant. We will come back soon. We will now move to Mr. Sai Krishna, CEO, Super Greens India Limited, Kanchipuram. He is also in virtual. Mr. Sai Krishna, please. Mr. Sai Krishna, you are there? Not there. We will come back to Mr. Shankar once again. Dr. Shankar. Dr. Shankar, can you hear? He is unable to connect the audio. Okay, Dr. Shankar, we will try to do it. We will come back to you later before the session is over. So we'll come back to again Mr. Vikrant Chauhan, extended reality. Are you able to make your system fine? Mr. Vikrant? Radhakrishnan is yes, Mr. Radhakrishnan, anything?
Good afternoon to all. Mr. Shankar is trying to connect. Probably he may be joining in about a minute.
Sorry?
Mr. Shankar is trying to connect.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Yes, Radhakrishnan, let him try to connect, but we'll move on to the next one, but we'll come back to you later on because of the lack of time. We'll come back to you. Please be in the session. We will go to Captain Kedar Chaudhary, Director in charge of Electronic Lab. Right here, is it not? Electronic Lab, no? Captain Kedar Chaudhary, please. Kedar Chaudhary, please. Okay, we will go to Dr. S. Mailraj, Director of Research, Pentoli Agri Nutrition India Limited. Thank you. You are good. Okay, sir.
So ours is a feed supplement and additive company. And we make the feed additive for aqua and poultry, and majorly we are working on aqua. So here, what I want to emphasize here, so we have to develop a unique probiotics for the consortium or a single bacteria, which can do for the bioremediation of the tanks, the ponds, or help or other inhibition of pathogens. So this is one of the very major problem in the aquaculture system, particularly to inhibit or kill the vibrio-associated pathogens and other related diseases. So there are some plate assessors available for finding a vibrio, but they are not. If you are looking into the molecular level, it's all fault positive for normally it gives. So you just go on replating through this agar medium, you just find out yellow and green colonies. But if you are going for the molecular identification, you will find out most of the time you will find out non-vibrios. So that gives the false positive and the people go mad actually. So we hope to emphasize in development of the new the probiotics which can helpful in the aquaculture industry.
Thank you very much. I think this I will very more
Service molecular based this one, we have to use specific genes for pathogenic detection. Like already we have given a kit. In that endococcus fecalis we are detecting. Similar kind of specific pathogen-based genes which we are identifying, then we could able to identify whether these pathogens are available there. There are some products, but if required, we can develop also. So what can for the universal primers? Universal primers, it detects everything. Yes, universal primer, it detects everything. But thereby you are getting false positive. But whereas we are detecting developing the kits, which is detecting only the pathogens. It will tell you whether that pathogen is there or not in the system, so that it will be easier for you to treat the system. Thank you. Otherwise, that embryos are part of the ecosystem, which helps in promotion in many ways. It is not. We can discuss. Definitely, it is possible. Yes. I will also just tell one more thing, because you had problem in the fish food, isn't it? We are always talking about, when we talk about the cage culturing, the fish feed, whether even it's going cattle feed, a poultry feed, sorry, whether it can be converted to fish feed, I don't know. Maybe offline we can discuss this. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Yes. Start using our kit, because that will solve most of their issues, because people are not diagnosing what the organism is. So that is their problem, and I think our kit will solve their issues, sir. So they have to, we will have an offline. I think we will have interaction. This is interaction. The technology is already available. Yes, sir. That's it. Thank you, sir. We will definitely, we are working on product. Definitely, we will take on probiotics of aquaculture from any source, because we cannot directly jump to land human clinical probiotics, but for aquaculture probiotics, definitely from treatment, definitely we can work. We will discuss with you, sir. Okay, then we will come back to the persons whom we could not speak. Dr. Shankar, Director Biotech, you are online. Can you give your views, please? Dr. Shankar, you are online. No, but Dr. Radhakrishnan, to continue on behalf of me like that. So, Dr. Radhakrishnan, can you join, please? Dr. Radhakrishnan, please.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Radhakrishnan, on behalf of Dr. Shankar, please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon to all. It was a very interesting session. The product displayed by NOIT has a lot of potential and interesting. But anyway, in the next session, I'll be giving my views on research, innovation in marketing. Probably at that time, I'll be able to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Radhakrishnan. We will just see whether Mr. Vikrant Chauhan is available online. Director Extended Reality, please. Mr. Vikrant Chauhan. Mr. Sai Krishna, CEO, Super Greens. Sai Krishna, please. Captain Kedar Chaudhary, please. Electronic Lab. Captain Kedar Chaudhary. Okay, we will move to the next person, Dr. Sri Kumar Surinaran, Managing Director, C6 Energy Private Limited, Bangalore. Dr. Sri Kumar.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sri Kumar, and my company, C6 Energy, actually specializes in large-scale offshore seaweed cultivation systems and conversion of that seaweed to various products for agriculture, for animal health, for biodegradable plastics, even using processes like hydrothermal liquefaction to make crude oil. Right now, we do a lot of offshore farming in Indonesia, and we have invented mechanical systems for seaweed, automating the labor-intensive part of seaweed farming and harvesting. Very recently, we have started work in offshore farming in the Lakshadweep Islands. We are doing very preliminary work, and we are also interested in going to the Andaman Islands. So one of the things that we are very interested to collaborate with in NIoT is working with NIoT to design very cost-effective systems, farm designs and layouts, very easy systems for anchoring in which can be used in waters up to 100 or 150 meters. I know this is not a great depth for an IoT, but we need some easy, cost-effective anchoring systems. We also need to be looking at when we have very large-scale seaweed farms. I know that NIoT is very experienced in upwelling systems and they're nutrient-rich waters. And I think when we start doing very large-scale seaweed farms, we have to look at the utilization of nutrient-rich deep waters to facilitate growth of seaweed farms. So we look for collaborations in that area. We also need to look at modeling and simulation systems so that we can simulate all the seaweed farms and their behavior, hydrodynamic behaviors in wind, waves, ocean systems, and finally, remote data telemetry systems so that we can find out local nutrient conditions in various parts of the seaweed farm, be able to then direct flows towards that, nutrient flows towards that, find out temperature, wave motion, and then do some kind of predictive large-scale farming. So these are all cutting-edge areas that are of great interest. There are huge programs going on in the US under so-called Mariner programs. And I think NIoT is very well poised to actually, with all the expertise in engineering and in biology, to actually help work with companies like ours to help facilitate seaweed farming in a large way in India. So that is our request.
Thank you, Dr. Shivakumar. This is a very interesting work which you are doing for seaweed in both Lakshadweep and Andamans. We have teams working, I mean, NIoT teams working, and Dr. Vinod also is working in the seaweed. He will be able to support you. But I want to add one more thing. We were talking about upwelling. Upwelling, we have the desalination plants in the Lakshadweep, in Kavaratti, Agatti, Minikoi, Kalpeni, and many other places where naturally due to the process of desalination you get upwelling, and the upwelling is nutrient rich water and you can use it for seaweed cultivation. Perhaps these two I would request Gurmeet and Mori Tata to intervene now and we can discuss later. Yes, Gurmeet, you want to add something?
Dr. Srikumar also approached us a few times. We had many discussions. So we are thinking of offshore related to the seaweed farming. So we said NIoT has that experience of mooring systems. So somewhere in the deeper water around 200 or 300 meters with this nutrient upwelling they want to work. So as Sir suggested, now in the deep, already it is there in that our Lakshadweep, the systems are already, they can use that areas also. Our people can also collaborate in that. In Andaman especially, we have to develop for that particular area. So we will work out on that.
I think Lakshadweep is ideal because there are so many plants out there working.
Already there.
Yes, and your survey was actually rotate reach. So it's possible. Yeah.
So, Dr. Shivakumar, NIoT would be fully supportive for your activities. So, thank you so much for your intervention. We now move on to Dr. A.K. Nazar, Principal Scientist, ICAR, CMFRI. He is a former scientist from NIoT. Dr. Nazar, can we at least see your face? We are not met for a quite very long time. We people will be eagerly looking forward to see your face. Dr. Nazar? Is not there. Dr. Nazar? Was there. None was there. Was there. Okay, we will come back later. We'll move on. We'll move to Dr. T. Kumar Guru, scientist, CSIR, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, Hyderabad. Dr. Kumar Guru, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hope I'm audible to you.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, all, and I would like to thank you for NIOT team and NRDC for arranging such a wonderful session and inviting me. I am Dr. Kumaraguru, working as a scientist at the CSR IICT Hyderabad. Our lab is mainly focusing on biocatalysis and biotransformation. That is using enzymes for process development for various intermediates and fine chemicals for the application of food, oil, and pharma industries. With this specific reason, our lab was established in the year 1996 at the IICT. So our lab is almost 26 years old age research lab in this field. So now, due to that various reason, and not only in India and the entire world is talking about that development of self-sustainable technology and development of the process, all the things. So, including COVID pandemic and supply chain disruption in China due to the power crisis or another thing, pollution issues also one of the major reason. So, for developing any technology, we believe that three factors should be considered. One is economics and environment and safety. So for any bioprocess, safety and environment, they are the important characteristic features which make the process sustainable and green. And in view of economics or cost-effective process, adapting the emerging techniques is the and the process improvement definitely may help the process to make cost-effective. These are one of the attractive research area. We are good into that process development. But coming to the present situation, what we observed that there are a lot of products are available in the market because earlier the cost effectiveness people are worried about by adapting the bioprocess, particularly in the API industries, and which is entirely different than what we are discussing now today, because this is actually now if you see that sitagliptin particularly and pregabalin, there are many API intermediates are available in the market and people are made it commercially available, which cost effectiveness. But another thing is what we are missing is novel process development, adapting emerging techniques. Apart from that, exploring the novel organisms for the various niches and expanding the enzymatic tool. These are some of the missing points. So it's a time to product these all the areas and exploring novel many microorganisms for the various activities. So this opportunity definitely will help because I believe that the NIOT also having that good at marine biotechnology. They have that extreme environment cultures also available. So this will be the one of the attractive area. And this adventure also will helpful for us to explore much into this area. So thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar Guru. I'm sure that with your support, many of the technologies from NIOT through NRDC will be able to take it to many other pharma and other industries. Thank you so much, Dr. Kumar Guru. Now we go on to Chairman. Now I request all people to kindly look to the audio part because many of the participants are not able to speak and also not able to hear. Okay, sir, please go ahead, sir. Okay, so the next one is Mr. K.V. Madhusudan, former Deputy Controller of Patent and Design, Government of India.
Very good afternoon, all the enthusiastic intellectuals online and offline. I'm not an expert in the technology, but I'm having expertise in patent system. What I understand from the people who are filing for patents, their efforts, because for me, in my personal opinion, all the entrepreneurs are the heroes for me. Because despite knowing all the hurdles and difficulties in the process of coming to the one of the pen products which is patentable or commercializable, they go with enthusiasm. That's why I salute all the entrepreneurs, irrespective of technology, of course. And basically what happens is the identification of need, then working solution for solving or achieving or meet completion of requirements, etc. You will be doing that. Suppose you end up with either process or product, then you work for invention. Whatever you develop something, because you identify the need, you are going to solve that.
So then comes about the pilot trial of working, then scaling up. These are one type of efforts what you be submitting. No doubt it involves a lot of money. I totally accept for that point. And then afterwards, identification of the developer product. See now, when I identify the need, then probably you may or you may not link it to commercialization. Then when you come to the developing a product, then you think about commercialization. When you think about commercialization, you have two choices. Whether your product is a totally blockbuster product, which is no alternative at all in the field. If it is alternative, ultimately it should be cost effective. If otherwise you can't survive. So that is the reason why we have so many people who are one another. See now, probably an entrepreneur or R&D laboratory, they are developing some invention, and as I understand it from the today's regulations that what do you say, legal requirements should be met, and validations, and so many things are there. Apart from the identification of a purchaser, and more than what I need to say is purchaser, whether it can be a totally new purchaser from the same field, if it is from the same field, whether they are working the innovation in the same area what you are working. In such a case, can you think about the cross licensing system, or you need to take royalty, which is better, which is not better. So these things, there are so many aspects which are coming under. Okay. So before coming to license and licensing or the cross licensing, etc., let me tell you, you are developing the product and then thinking about the purchaser, and then you are thinking about the profits, etc., etc. In the entire, but patent is the end of the entire thing. Why patent is very important point is patent gives a monopoly right. Where product and copying your process and making money in the market. Otherwise, if you don't go for patent, you are becoming open book, and anybody can just simply walk in. You got the point. So therefore, patent work comes at the end of your entire work. It is the most important because you are going to get a monopoly right. For this purpose only, you have a lot of layers. You have incubators who gives the value addition to your work, right? So you have so many other players like NRDC who will be assisting you. So you will not worry about all the things. And apart from all these things, see now all the players whether become stakeholders of the invention or the patent right. So that is the biggest question. Okay. So now these are all the other strategies which I don't want to talk much because of the paucity of time. Ultimately, just let me tell you, as my friend Dr. Gowda told me that the patent office is giving a concession in fees for individuals, startups, MSME companies, and education institutions. No doubt, that concession is a peanut as far as I'm concerned. Nothing. But the 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 rupees is nothing when you compare movements. But even then, that is the encouragement what government wants to give. And if you come to so many other players like MSME or the state governments or certain other people, they are reimbursing whatever the money you have spent in developing the patent. So you are getting your money back. So that is an encouragement for at least if my invention fails, let me get back. If I get a patent right now, unless you get a patent right, your money will not be reimbursed. Don't take money from the government. Also get a patent, again, what is the guarantee of commercialization? Then you get a profit. So many people think that once I get a patent, it can be easily commercialized, I can make a profit. That is misunderstanding. So actually, the ultimately depends upon the acceptance by the society. You had inputs in that, then there's a failure. So ultimately what I mean to say is there is a lot of encouragement. Various players are there. The only thing is, as an entrepreneur, you have to identify some players
and take help, and we are not dearth of players and dearth of encouragers in India. Definitely, yes. People have whenever you start inventing something, when you start working, you please start applying for a patent. With a small this one, I just stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking the issues and the points which you explained, Mr. T.V. Madhusudan. We will once again check whether others who left here, Mr. Vikram Chauhan is there. Mr. Vikram Chauhan? Not there. Okay. Mr. Sai Krishna, Super Brains. Mr. Sai Krishna?
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Sai Krishna?
Yeah, that's me only.
Please go ahead. You can take 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Sai Krishna. I'm a management consultant turned into an algal entrepreneur. I'm doing freshwater algae cultivation. Now we are going for a marine algae cultivation. So our focus is mainly on the environment and carbon credits. I would like to know the central government institutions, what sort of plans you have for this carbon and methane mitigation with respect to marine algae, how you are going to support the entrepreneurs.
I would request my colleagues, Dr. Vinita Bharani, to respond, please.
Hello. Dr. Sai Krishna, this is Dr. Vinit Kumar, scientist working in Andaman. And we are working on various seaweed-based products. Right now, we are working in the seaweed culture in the environment using locally available seaweeds only.
Okay.
So this is also helping us to mitigate that carbon in a large scale. If we go for and we can work with many other seaweeds, which is even some of the seaweeds which are recently found out, it is even reducing the methane level also. Similar kinds of seaweed based, this one we can initiate, but for that we can come for a discussion and we can definitely give some solutions and we can definitely work for that.
Actually, there are 2 points here, sir.
Okay.
One is, as such, in the COP26 meeting, they have not recognized seaweeds as a carbon mitigation material.
Yeah, okay.
They have not accepted it.
Okay.
And then, of late, there is an identification of one species called Aspergillus, which is a methane mitigation thing, and which is there available in the east and west coast of India.
Yeah, it is available in Andaman also, but let's.
Yeah. So now there is a institutional requirement to make macroalgae and microalgae as a carbon mitigation instruments and get the benefit to the industries and to the society.
Yeah,
that is who will bell this cat?
Actually, we can, for a specific requirement, we can work.
It's not specific requirements. The industry itself has not been accepted. As an entrepreneur, when I inquired, it cost me 45 to 50 lakhs to get the evaluation study of these weeds, seaweeds or algae, and to get certification.
I would request Dr. Sai and we need to discuss it offline. It's a very important point which you are raising. Perhaps you may not be able to immediately sort it out within these few minutes. So you have his contacts, isn't it?
Yeah, we
his contacts. So please have an interaction, and I'm sure Dr. Sai definitely NIOT will be supporting in sorting out this issue.
Okay.
So we will move on to one more person, and no, 2 more are pending. Captain Kedar Chaudhary, are you online? Captain Kedar Chaudhary, are you there? Okay, then once again, Dr. Nazar, are you online? Zain, no? Okay, okay, then I think with this, then we have come to the end of this session. We have the phone. That's not good. With this, we have come to the end of the session. We had a good discussion about invention, incubation, innovation. So as I suggested, I request all of you to join in the incubation center of NIOT. I mean, I don't think it will be expensive or something. It will be quite reasonable because as Dr. Ramdas said, NIOT is funded by the state and it is the responsibility of the NIOT to give back to the society. So it is not just to make money or anything like that, but to give back to the society. But some money is associated. Otherwise, you know that we have got something called FA, financial advisor, and others will say that it is given free. It is not considered all right. So some money will be there, but please join this incubation center. So mostly I see that the discussions were based on algae, seaweed, and bioplastics, etc., and also on deep ocean water, which is quite important. So all this which we discussed would be definitely taken up by NIOT. We have got contacts of Vinit and Dharani who will be able to take up and move forward. This I would like to thank Dr. Sahu for helping in this conduct of this session. Thank you once again for inviting me for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, because you have to harness and inculcate, and ultimately Dr. Tata and Dr. Ramdas is the key personality in making the difference, and also with NRDC. So with this, I'm really we are grateful to you for chairing this session, and grateful to all the distinguished industry leader and also IT regulator for contributing their point, because their point is very, very important in the changing paradigm of ecosystem of technological innovation. With this, we will go to next session. Am I right, Dr. Sir?
Yes, may nothing about that. In extension to what Dr. Atmanan said, yeah, we are going to have an application some sort of research for patient center very soon. The modalities will be worked out in consultation with our ministry and NRDC as well, and we thank CMD for helping hand to quickly doing that one. And at the time we will discuss actually how to join, actually what are the either joining fee or equity or supporting time, that's whatever it is. Those all possibilities are open to us, and we will take up whatever set activity. Definitely we will consult you and accommodate you in this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Director NIOT. Sir, can you go to next session? Yeah. Okay, we have the next session on also last session, research and innovation in marketing. Because at the end of the day, Dr. Seshadri told MRL, the marketing readiness level. I fondly remember at Denmark, at Copenhagen Business School, we have a long deliberation on marketing readiness level. And in fact, my chairman used to tell that point. And today also we are deliberating, and also you have complement our thought process. So may I request Honorable Dr. R. Kripakaran, former head of NAIM Biotechnology Division, to chair the session. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Sahu. Good afternoon to all of you. First of all, let me thank Dr. G. Ramadas, Director of NIOT, for inviting me. And also, let me congratulate Dr. Tata Sudhavir and Dr. Dharani for organizing such a much needed workshop today. And what I feel, well, there was a time, nearly 4 decades before, the slogan was lab to land. But if you see today, there are a lot of publication and contributions that we made from the same slogan even land to lab or lab to lab or land to lab. Only we have to deepen our thinking and make the technologies vice versa. And today I'm seeing that once the technologies are being developed, the explorations range is also expanding. It is not every decade we revise our own technological input, and the area of scope for product development is much more. That is the way I'm really surprised how this NIT and other organizations are involved in developing in a short span of time. We were able to transfer near about the 25 technological transfer. I congratulate the team in NIT. So now today for this session we have a speaker. First speaker is Dr. K. He is the Managing Director, Mrs. Axio Gen Biotech, Tyson Park, and Dr. P. Srilata, Manager Phytochemistry, Mrs. LODL Advanced Research Center, Bangalore. Dr. Radhakrishnan, Advisory Director, Research and Innovation, Mrs. Biotech Bax India Private Limited, Chennai. Dr. Bala Kota Reddy, Project Director R&D, Mrs. Loka Biosciences, Private Limited, Hyderabad. Dr. Swaraj T. R&D Head Senior Research Scientist, Mrs. Avisa Biotech Private Limited, Ernakulam. Dr. D.B. Swine, Director, Rajalakshmi School of Business, Chennai. Dr. A. Venkateswara Rao, Director, Mrs. Nibu Faiji in the Cab Private Limited, Puducherry, and Dr. Madan, Director, Mrs. Alliance Biosciences Private Limited, Puducherry. I welcome all of you for this session. And when the first session was going on, it is like it started like a test match. When Dr. Armanath took over, he made it and here one day. Now I want to make it as here. Now what I am expecting, you don't say, you tell your points, we will discuss in continuation over mail or today, next time, etc. So you raise your issues point by point and make your presentation within 3 minutes. And maybe for another couple of minutes, we'll let others also discuss with you. Thank you. I first of all invite Dr. Karthikeyan to convey his ideas and help to proceed as far as today's topic concerns. Very happy before starting my views, I'm an ex-NAIM, and my company is Axio Gen Biotech. Just a few words about our company. We are in the development of innovative, eco-friendly, disease-free, non-toxic, natural organic products for agricultural, nutraceutical, and pharmaceutical segments. We have pan-India basis, and we are exporting to American, European, and Southeast Asian countries. And our organization is a research-based organization where we develop innovative technologies. And the topic is research and innovation in marketing. I think most of the speakers has expressed their using marketing tips. In my point is also my challenge on the same only. And my very Dr. Sirmal gave me on the previous time. I'll just make it very short. Dr. Dharani has gave a wonderful presentation on a lot of innovative molecules. And all these molecules goes into only niche market. Unlike other generic molecules, this cannot be marketed just like that, like general promotion. So, in the initial phase of marketing of these products, most of the buyers will be hesitant to buy it, and we have to do a lot of work like educating them. And we have to submit a lot of data and information and analytical good and everything. So, my point is, the time frame between the product development and the commercialization generally these products innovative molecules. It's very long. And moreover, these molecules are very good, and once it kick-started, there's no stopping. It's very highly active molecules. Once it kick-started, we can, as the patent officer told, we can monopolize the molecules. Once we monopolize, we can go to market. But in that phase, that initial phase, the lag phase, most of the companies face with heavy risk in commercialization. So financial commitment, investment, everything will be difficult to do that. So apart from innovation and industrial collaboration, if we can collaborate in commercialization, in terms of technical supports and infrastructure supports, then on what are the technology however we have, close to 90% can come in place and we can take it to the end user. I think I need to use 3 minutes. Anyway, I make it very short. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kartikeyalu. Sir, I prefer. Thank you. Always, that's what. You are also given the first speaker of this session. Thank you. Next speaker is Dr. Srilata, Manager Phytochemistry, LODL Advanced Research Center.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. Again, as Mr. Kartikeyalu said, I am again, I can say alumni of NIOT. Been there, worked for 3 years. And can you all hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Okay, so basically our center is the L'Oreal Advanced Research Center in Bangalore, and it's a center of excellence in natural products. So basically it's a French company which is dealing with cosmetics, and we are looking for external collaborators who have good actives and raw materials which we can use in our products. And our specific areas of application are for cosmetics in skincare and hair care. And when you say skincare, there are certain need gaps for us. I mean, we are looking basically for photoprotecting agents, which could be used in sunscreen. Now, if you're going to ask me what are the kind of molecules we want, we specifically want a kind of molecules known as mycosporin-like amino acids, which are generated by cyanobacteria. And these molecules have a very good photoprotection activity, and they are mainly present only in the cyanobacteria as well as in the red algae porphyra. The main challenge right now we are facing is the commercial production, both from the industry startups as well as from the academic is very low yield is obtained. So if you could develop a technology for producing these compounds in a higher yield, that is when I say higher yield, it is at least 0.1 gram per liter. That is what we are expecting. So this is one of the targeted molecules for us. Then apart from that, in the hair care segment, we are looking for film formers. When we say film formers, until now we are using silicones, and silicones are according to the European regulations, by 2030, we have to remove all the silicones from our products. And we are looking for natural biopolymers from seaweeds like pulilan, carrageenan, agar, fucoidan, and also some microbial polysaccharides like bacterial leaven, which can replace silicones and can be used in the hair conditioning systems as well as in the skincare with the makeup. So they have to act as a film formers. So these are the kind of molecules which we are looking to collaborate with academia as well as for the industry. For us, the important point is whatever molecules you're giving, they should be clearing the safety standards, like they should not be skin sensitizing, and they should not be genotoxic, mutagenic, not phototoxic, and so on. And the molecules should also have good solubility and stability in the formula. So this is what we would like to collaborate with the academia. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Srilata. We could understand that skincare and the cosmetics products are very much importance internationally. As you pointed out, microsporin like products from red algae and other things we can screen. I want Dr. Bharani and Dr. Vinit, especially whether we are going to develop such a type of products, any fast screening system in our laboratory using the present facility. And also, what is its national and international standard that for every product in general we will analyze, but this, what are the different type of fast screening system for this type of product? Can you say in brief?
So as such, we are having only conventional screening systems like MIS and for microbial polymer productions or any other things. But for CV or RNA, it is a conventional system, biochemical analysis. We are in processing of setting up a fast screening system in the deep machine, so that will be useful for screening microbes in large scale as well as algal samples.
This is the input we require because when a reunion actually a lot of things have been projected in Parliament, but government wants something very tangible. So if when you ask for this kind of equipment or this kind of technology, whatever you are saying now actually, if you say that this is for the fast screening and this will have results much faster, it will really facilitate actually the faster processing of these things and all. So if you mention this, it's a good proposition. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, my name is Tanuja from Vectrogen. If I may just say quickly add, Vectrogen has been working on microsporins initially, so we could talk offline with Dr. Dharmi and you and see if you can take some of the interesting ideas forward. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, Tanuja. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we will move on to the next speaker, Dr. Bala Komareli. Are you there, sir? Then we will move to next speaker, Dr. Swaraj P. Kunal, Senior Research Scientist from Aisha Biotech Private Limited. Are you there, Dr. Swaraj? Sure. Okay, we will come back to you. Next speaker, Dr. D.B. Swain, Director, Rajalakshmi School of Business. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, shall I start?
Yeah.
Thanks, Chair Dr. Prabha, and thanks, Dr. Saul, for the invitation. All the respected Dr. Nandras, Dr. Pata, and Dr. Athana, and all ladies and gentlemen. I'm a marketing guy, former employee of Tata's, and now representing Rajalakshmi School of Business, Chennai. So a couple of things, I'll just share my ideas. There are two concepts in marketing: value for money and money for value. Whether you are in B2C, B2B, G2C, G2G, whatever format it is. So two concepts: value for money and money for value. I'll give you an example for the understanding of the house. Because marketing is a place where most of they respect all the entrepreneurs because they are just, like out of this world contributing to the, employment and all this, so all respect. But, marketing is a very underestimated term and avenue. Value for value is, you can produce a Mercedes and you can charge whatever you want to charge. That is a segment, but that's a niche segment. The other side is value for money. Just giving example for the understanding of the audience. That is Maruti. So the moment you talk about Maruti, people will ask about, the moment you enter into the showroom, they will ask, what is the mileage? Nobody will dare to do the same thing with Mercedes or BMW or Bugatti Veyron. So when Dr. Tata was talking about cost is very important, but simultaneously it is important to understand which segment we will be going to cater to. Any thing. So it is very important when you go for the product mix is important, product price, promotion, place, all these things are important. Social media, e-commerce knowledge is very important. Networking is very important. Public relation is very important. Most of the ideas and products fail because of resourcefulness, lack of resourcefulness rather than resources. So it's very important at each stage, whenever we go for ideation process, it's important to understand whether that idea is accepted in the market or not. So segmentation, targeting, positioning is very important. So I think this, as a business school, we are ready to help. We do a lot of MPP and EDP. One thing which I will submit to Governor Rastagi and to NIOT Director and the chair. People don't, for example, this is a technical discussion. I'm not a technical person, I'm a marketing person. But
Business school students are there, faculties are there. We do, a lot of, for example, we do data analytics, database management system, Excel modeling. We do a lot of courses which is contemporary as well as traditional. So it's very important for every entrepreneur to use business schools. The only way to manage everything in today's world is collaboration. I'm developing a technology, so I should be concerned about intellectual property rights and all those things, but I should also be concerned about how to understand market. And to understand market, it is very important to reach business schools. And this is free of cost. You go and present your ideas. You will get instant feedback from not only the faculty but also from the students. Students don't care. They will tell on your face that this product, this idea will not, be successful. So it's my request to all of you. Radhalakshmi School of Business, we welcome you all. You please come. Any kind of, for example, we have a TVI in our campus. So we have, Radhalakshmi Institute of Technology. So these students, will be trained in to understand segment, geographic segmentation, demographic segmentation, psychographic segmentation, behavioral segmentation. It's very important to understand all this. How e-commerce world works, like how Amazon works. What are the pain points? How to scale up? What are the difficulties? Funding mechanism. So these are the very, very important things, like the entrepreneur has to. So you can go for a capsule course. If you don't want to invest also, you can tell us. We can give you a free capsule course. You can sit in the class. There is no harm in, exchanging your ideas. It's not about learning somebody is better, somebody, it's very important. So please, it's not about only Radhalakshmi School of Business. It's my request, honest request to all the entrepreneurs, please use business schools. Because, and suppose, you don't go only to IITs and IIMs. You come down to others also. Everybody has got their unique expertise. If they don't have, you train them, you put in your workforce. So what will happen at very lesser cost, you will get this. Even sometimes very interesting students are there, they will work free of cost. So it's very important. So here I will end. So it's very important that you need to collaborate. If you don't collaborate with multiple stakeholders, it's very difficult. For example, we also give consulting on international business, how to go international. So it's very important. So, I feel very happy that I'm here to share a little bit of idea on marketing. But without marketing knowledge, whatever might be the technology, whatever might be the product, service, it's very difficult to sustain on a long term. I'm not going to do economy and, the sustainability goals and all those things. I stop here. Thanks, Chair, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Swain. Certainly, your experience in the marketing has raised a certain, will solve certain problems. What I think, basically, data mining and also artificial intelligence should be employed before we go for the final marketing interests. So these are the certain type of input which will help us to reach our goal without any hazards. Thank you very much. Is there any questions from the participants? Quickly, one or two questions for the discussion. Okay, thank you very much. We will go to the next speaker, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Advisory Director, Research and Innovations. Dr. Radhakrishnan, are you there?
Yes, please. Good afternoon to all.
Thank you.
You can hear me? Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank NAIOT for inviting me to share my views. And it is an excellent sessions. And probably we are coming to the end of the today's sessions. Basically, I'm very happy to see the diversified minds which are present today to discuss the various aspects requirement of technology moving to the market. It is like marketing is the one which is going to be comes at the end, but if the marketing gets involved at the beginning, it will be more useful. It is like going from the cradle to the grave, because there are so many hurdles into that. To give a prospect for this, a three-dimensional prospect for this, to put it in short, the policy support, sustainability, and ecosystem. These are the main pillars for any technology for the success to have value to value or value to money. Policy, in the sense, is because this is a very big topic. One can debate on this or deliberate on this many days, but to give for an incubation center, a policy support should be research, product leads, and funding, and the industry. These are the more three or four pillars where the policy should be centered. Like policy support is like a research, because we can do a research, but the research may be sustainable, may be marketable, may not be marketable. The sustainability part comes is like an innovation. When an innovation comes this thing, there should be ease of exploration. The product should be easy to explore. The sustainability of the product, cost effectiveness, and market viability. Because we as a scientist, because I started as a scientist, but now I look after the marketing strategies for the biotech bags. So there is a big gap between the research and the marketing. The third pillar is going to be ecosystem. Ecosystem is going to be environmental related. There are too many questions. There are too many anxieties. There are too many intricacies which are involved. Today, anything which we talk about the product, first people talk about the carbon footprint, carbon capture, ecosystem protection, environmental protection, environmental related issues, and rather than anything else. So all these things need to be built into going forward for a technology to mature and come to the market. Just to, because I heard the diversified views on the people, and everybody has come to at a boundary level, but they have not come to the pitch. I always remember, and I will always correlate, because in one way or other, we all know the cricket. Cricket has been existing almost in a century, more than a century. But in the recent past or last 13 or 14 years, if you see, the IPL has revolutionized the cricket. There is the innovation, there is the research, there is the marketing, which is come. So here also, if a research and a product need to go into the successful, so we need to have a IPL type of orientation and mindset. So this can be debated, and then we can, if it is interested, we can have a different session how this is going to be, because a blueprint has been worked out for this. And unless and until research is not as challenging, research is not going to be a competitive. So the outcome is not going to be the one which is going to be marketable. So these are my views regarding that one, because each topic which I said into that one is a lengthy one. One can discuss and one can understand, and one
Thank you, Dr. Because
Thank you very much.
and with the paucity of time, I want to conclude from your talk. The two important aspect what you envisaged, the ecosystem, the sustainability. These are all two important vital factors. Any technology for its continuance is very much essential. For example, the energy sector, if you take the time involved to man, the solar energy was the first one knowingly or unknowingly used extensively. So gradually, our fast and intensive research, we went for many other technologies, but still the environmental laws or environmental hazards cannot be reduced 100%. So this is a very, very debatable for all sort of our technology development. It will be taken care and it will be also discussed further in depth. Thank you very much. And now we will move on to the next speaker. Dr. Reddy is there? Dr. Reddy? Dr. Kumar. Dr. Kumar. Okay, next speaker, Dr.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone. I do thank you for all the organizing committee members for giving the opportunities. I would like to say this a few things to about this one. I'm basically a researcher, down-to entrepreneur. I worked on two corporate sectors for more than 20 years. I patented more than 25 patent applications, but only two patent applications have been commercially viable. Okay, one is from I did research on natural products, which is mosquito repellent property, which is commercially available in a deep product. So we identified one more plant that is Vitex Nebula, which is being used for popular plant. We take lead from the popular based area. We identified the active molecule. That active molecule contribute 0.003%, not at a viable. So we suspended the product. We are publishing the result. We internationally certified. Then I moved other organization where we made more than 25 patent applications. Only two products which are commercial level. One is for anti-dander property, other one is the trademark property. This anti-dander property are taken from the root this one, but there that is also commercial. The molecule has been identified that is very small nanogram levels. So we identified synthetic route for that one. We synthesized the product that product has been used. Second one is other one airborne property is a mixture of several labs. So these are the properties. Other more than 23 patent applications. It is just for the identifying the molecule that the drawback is only patent applications for known molecule, new active cannot be patented. That has been known data. So maintaining the filing the patent and maintaining the patent is quite different. For the small industries, in big industries also 20 years it has to pay the maintenance fees. We don't know what is the commercial benefit out of the product is coming. These are the another drawbacks. Coming to this new product development, people need to go for detail being developed any product first doing for the research. What the customer want. If customer wants a different product, then what are the fair price in the market? What is the cost of that product? What is the raw material being used in this one? Or the product should be colorless, product should be transparent, what is the criteria they will select? If we are going to meet, then we are going to start the basic research. Then there will be the different cross-functional teams. Going to do this one, marketing activities, you are going to the research product which going to get the raw materials. These are all the kept in mind, then you have to start the project. Then at the end, management will do this one research and research back. When it is going to come to the ROI, return on investment, if the return on investment, they will be the gatekeepers. If return on investment is not that management will kill the project. There is no point continuing the project. These are the things you should do before starting the researchers. Okay, then if the idea is the real molecule, what is the active molecule, how it is going to come, how much is the cost going to Dr. Dharani said, if you need the surfactants cost about 40,000. I am developing only product cost is not more than 40 rupees. If I want to put 1% of that biomolecule, I will pay, spend 40 rupees. What about other things? Where I have to go? Is it viable? You should not develop all the products for one niche market. You should develop for the local market products also. Then only it is viable. If the product is not available naturally, then look for alternate synthetic approach. People will accept it. Then patentability is another debatable questions. Whether is patentability there or not, then you should think about this one and secret. So these are the points I wanted to say. If any such a type of molecule, we are ready to take up. Because we are in home care and personal care products. Like Dr. Srila said, she wanted so many things, but most of the things it's not at all viable. If you want to do any product, you have to go for cats, chemical accessories, that will take 3 to 4 years. You need to spend huge amount. Without cats number, nobody will take up the molecule. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for enlightening me. gap between just pretending something and making it really perfect. That we agree. But our antibiotic group has actually double disadvantage. One is that it's a slow process. I agree. Second thing is there among the engineers, technologists. We don't understand many of these kind of problems involved in that. We want quick results. As that company used to say, they want the most everything. So, we understand the problems. This is a challenge. When we start this our integration center and work, we will definitely remember the kind of that timelines and gaps that are involved. This is the lesson. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Professor, for pointing out the two important aspects where active biomolecules need to be more focused and also local market demands. When we discuss about active biomolecules, actually, they are very site-specific action, very, very rare to find out and also their side effects are so deleterious. We have to devise some sort of multi-physiological functioning like reproductive, neuronal, the immune system, etc., how they are impacted. We will be on this type of system. Naturally, we will take care of all those things so that in further discussion how to go ahead, we have to discuss and we will. Yes, local marketing also demands we have to always go through. What we can do for our society is far most important than we think about the international level, etc. Thank you. Next, we will move on to the next speaker, Dr. Madan, Director, Force Alliance Biosciences Private Limited. Dr. Madan, are you there? Dr. Madan? Okay. Dr. Swaraj? Dr. Swaraj, are you there?
Hello.
Dr. Swaraj?
Yes.
Okay, please.
Yes.
Good.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Swaraj. I am working from Avisa Biotech. It's a Cochin-based microbial biotechnology company, and we are basically working on water-soluble pigment, that is water-soluble melanin. And the primary interest of me to join this webinar or this conversation was to know what kind of services or what kind of facilities you can provide for companies like us, which are working on, say, microbial biotech field. And what basically what challenges we are facing as a newly established startup, that many a time we go to say any incubation center or anywhere where the desired facilities are there. Suppose we want to use 100-liter fermenter or 200-liter fermenter. So the many a time it happens that the equipment or the machinery is not being used for long. And suppose we want to go and hire its services, then the operational challenges is a big thing, and we will have a limited time for operating this. And during that time, many a time it happens that they will say that it's not operational for the last 6 months or so. It will take some time to take your project up. So like that, we are facing. Then other thing is that downstreaming of the products. Sometime it happens that fermenter is there, but the downstreaming thing like continuous centrifuge is not attached with fermenter. Then suppose we want to streaming by spray drying or freeze drying, that all facilities will not be available within the premises. So this kind of challenges we face. So I don't know if NIOT can come up with something like that, whether a full scale setup of fermentation and then post fermentation technologies or post fermentation services can be provided. Be a great help like us.
Thank you, Dr. Madan. I could understand your need for melanin pigment at large scale protection. It's really a very interesting molecule, especially the facility what you are expecting also for NAT. Right now it is not available, but large scale, partially the pilot scale it is available, and we are also going to develop that for industrial scale development. Certainly we will come back to you, and also simultaneously, I will request you, you also identify some collaborator who can also technically, we can, facility-wise, NAOT will be coming forward to help you, not in all aspects of all the investigators. So, some of the possible collaborators are available in the country, you identify, and with that, whatever the lead they have taken, and you join together, so that it will help you to develop the technology faster. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank
thank you, sir.
Next speaker, Dr. Reddy. Dr. Reddy is not there. Dr. Madan, just now we except Dr. Reddy, I think everybody presented. Thank you for your big presentation. I thank all the speakers for completing the session in a very short time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
A very beautiful deliberation, and we learn many things. And now, yeah, we all are hungry. It's time to wrap up the session. But before that, we need to analyze, introspect. And for this, may I request Dr. J. Dharni, the key batsman of the program, to give the yes. Sir, please, may I request the chairman to give the concluding remarks, particularly of this program.
Thank you. Let me first of all discuss some of the important issues, but particularly coming to the funding aspects, many things we have not discussed. There are a lot of assistance are available for the funding, like the technology development board and the DST and then BIRAC, Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, then DIFAC, which is Technology Information Forecasting and Assessment Council. These are the some, I might have left something, there are a lot of funding schemes. They give almost up to 50% of the cost of the project. And also it is, the interest rate is much lower. It is coming around 4 to 5% interest rate. One can avail the facilities, and you go to the website of TIFAC, BIRAC, and TDB. You will get more and more information. Almost they fund even for the latest need, like COVID-related instrumentation and other activities. They started funding. So this is an open opportunity for all the investigators to explore the possible funds. But facility-wise, NAOT will go fund additional. Also, it is possible to get from other sites. Coming to, because it is very difficult to summarize everything, all the discussion and all the points. When I was given this role at the last minute, I will just mention some of the interesting areas what we discussed. That alone we will conclude. But it is not the final conclusion. We will send it in the minutes of the meeting. What are the important highlights and how we can proceed in much detail. So don't mistake me if I am not mentioning any of your views. So during the first session, what was discussed, and it is important, that regulatory complaints and licensing. And in addition to that, marketing support and validation by institutes NRDC. And the third aspect is setting up of cluster for incubated and structural approach. And the fourth and final is the establishment of single point contact for industries. These are the only four major areas, but still your opinions and whatever you conveyed that will be discussed and it will be limited. During the second session, the emphasizing of patenting and increased support from the patent office. And the second aspect under the session 2 is development of novel probiotics from marine bacteria. And the third aspect is technology for offshore cultivation of seaweeds. And the fourth aspect is the utilization of marine algae for hydrographic mitigation. These things also will be of our higher priority. And under this session 3, the importance of collaboration until commercialization. And the second aspect is importance of molecules like mycosporin from marine bacteria. And the third aspect is technology for rapid screening and high yield of biomolecules. And the fourth aspect is usage of artificial intelligence in marketing and policy decisions. So these are the outset I am concluding, but however you are free to still keep in contact and convey by mail so that it will be properly meted and it will be circulated, and this will be the first meeting only, I suppose, and we should conduct a series of meetings regularly at a regular interval, and also we will be in touch with you through mails and over phone, so that in each and every point of time we can make the necessary correction and we will take your suggestion. Thank you very much. And, thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we will take the point from the leadership. From CMD and RDC, may I request on the CMD Mr. Astogu to give his final view and point and observation from this deliberation. Sir, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sau. I think there is no, I would say, one single judgment which can talk about or summarize the entire thing. Very, very fruitful discussion I think we have had. As I look at it, what boils down to is that the proof of the pudding is in eating. There is work which is happening that is required to be, the bottom line is that it is required to be commercialized. So there should be a structured approach to commercialization. I think as a, in that, every stakeholder has got a role to play, and we must optimize our processes, especially at the research entity end, at the technology transfer end, and also when it is taken up for commercialization at the industry end. Very rightly brought out by, I think, from the Raj Lakshmi and Dr. Swen, is that we need to look after the aspect of, the market readiness approach, and for that we must engage maybe the professional entities who can help us out in this. And though there is a value addition which happens at NRDC in terms of the market survey, so during discussion it has also emerged that there may be a requirement for a market survey or a market readiness approach post commercialization. So I think there are quite a few takeaways, as you rightly said, that they need to get documented and get circulated. But if we follow this structured approach to commercialization, it will help us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Now we can take a view of our director and IoT, Dr. Ramdas. Sir, please. First of all, I would like to congratulate that was happening for selecting the right chairman and right innovators. Okay, so I was really amazed how much could be coming in just 3 minutes. I learned a lot.
Okay, so I congratulate all the stakeholders, invitees, participants, and the chairman for making this session very fruitful. And about NAIM, I would like to tell something. We are the Congress Body and Ministry of Health Sciences. We execute the projects of Ministry of Health Sciences. We don't have any function of our own. That's what makes us really special. So while doing this one, we have an administrative order, we have a cost control, we have to execute those projects. In this process, some things will come out and they can be used for some outside the world also, so that we try to commercialize. So at this juncture, we are at the bottom of the food chain. So we cannot give any final product or anything like that. We cannot make you really come up with a final product. Okay, so what we can do is that we can offer you the possibilities. We can show you the possibilities. We can offer you the technologies available or molecules available to us actually. So that way technology is the only thing that we can really offer at this stage. And second one is facilities. Of course, we have good world-class facilities here. If industry would like to use them, the problem will be attended. We are not in the process of making money or making a profit or anything. Our tariffs are very actually reasonable, so you can just definitely use it. If we have project of national importance, we can just accommodate even small industries. We are not here to price them actually. We are definitely. And whatever technology we transfer, I keep telling my colleagues actually that our responsibility doesn't end with just transferring technology. We have to hold the hands of the entrepreneurs, okay, till the end, till they commercialize. We don't have problems because of shortage of manpower. Dr. Dharani will ask for a lot of manpower, which I cannot offer. And actually, I have one comfort, Dr. Atman also told me, so I'm an exception. So we have these limitations, yes. And we are really what we do. The last point is that this magic or incubation center, actually, what we call it actually, that is a working chemistry. And really, with all humility, I say that all of you have really taught us something today, and we'll try to go about that one. We make these points, and we will, once we have that one, we will see how much we can fund, or we can give some support in kind by taking some people from you or something, some agreement with thing about. Again, actually, we are trying to establish facilities which are actually accessible to you. So, and which may reduce your investment and costs and all. I'm not a business management man actually, so I need to consult the right experts for that one, but these are our views. Our thing is that I summarize saying that we want to help. Okay, now you are telling us how to help you. And we have noted down these points, and my colleagues, Dr. Subhakar and others, they will inspire in making the documents for the incubation center and finalizing the objectives and what to say, deliverables for the incubation center. We will definitely take your views into this thing. Okay, into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your leadership and also your direction and vision and mission. And sir, we are really grateful. We are really honored. And also all of your presence beautify this collaboration. And I'll just सेवितव्यं महावृक्षं फलं छाया समिन्नितं जदिदैवात् फलं नास्ति छाया तेन निवर्ज्यते. So I hope I am complimenting Dr. Seshadri and Dr. Venkat Rao, their point, and certainly we need to join hand and make the difference. So I now request my good friend Dr. Dilip to give a little vote of thanks. But before that, we are really grateful to Dr. Tata and Dr. Dharani. God bless you, sir. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very good afternoon to all of you. I feel it is a great privilege to propose the vote of thanks to all the distinguished dignitaries and eminent personalities attending this meeting in the conference hall through and also through online.
On behalf of National Institute of Ocean Technology, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Science, for his kind guidance and support, encouragement for scientists of NIOT, and thank the former secretaries of MOES for their vision in national building, which produces the fruits now. We are pleased to thank Dr. G. Ramadas, Director NIOT Chennai, for the guidance, support, and encouragement for the scientists of NIOT to meet the expectation and the needs of the nation. Thank you, sir. Also, we thank all the former directors of NIOT for their hard work in nurturing us to grow us to this level. At this, and even to happen in this dimension, so it requires meticulous planning and execution for details. I am inducted to thank Dr. Tata Sudhakar, Scientist G, and Head NIOT Ocean Electronic Division and NIOT Incubation Cell, and Dr. B.K. Shagu, Regional Manager, NRDC, for their coordination and diligent planning of each and every technology transfer related event in this establishment. Our heartfelt thanks to Commodore Amit Rasudi, CMD NRDC, who is driving force behind these activities of NRDC. We also feel enlightened to with gracious presence of Dr. M.A. Atmanan, former Director NIOT, and we are extremely thankful to Dr. R. Kribagaran, former Group Head and Project Consultant of Marine Biotechnology, for their guidance and support in the past and present. Their continuous support now showing the results which the nation wants. We like to gratefully acknowledge all the speakers of today's meet in various sessions for their ready acceptance to participate in the event, and in spite of their busy schedule, they enthusiastically attended the meeting. I would like to thank all the group heads of various divisions of NIOT. Our thanks to also to former group heads of Marine Biotechnology for their contribution, vision, and mission, which helped us to grow over the past 2 decades. On behalf of MVP and Uncast family, we personally like to thank my friend and colleague, Dr. Vidharni, group head, MVP, for carefully arranging and coordinating these activities. I also thank the staff of NRDC who are warmly supporting NIOT technology transfer activities from Delhi. We have been fortunate enough to backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues of MVP and Ocean Electronics and all other groups. I extend my thanks for all the scientific and technical administrative colleagues for their hard work. I thank my NIOT staff from the Director Office, Administration, Finance and Accounts, Stores and Purchase, Computer Maintenance, Estate and Maintenance, including Guest House and Canteen. We also thank Securities and Housekeeping for their involuntary support. I would like to end my vote of thanks by a quote. Our aim may be high as the endless sky, but we should have a resolve in our mind to walk ahead hand in hand, for victory will be ours. Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Unquote. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vineet. And of course, just 1 second, I'll take thank personally to my head of division, because the see what he showed, now we are reaping, and that is where I should thank him for all the things and the guidance. Of course, Tata sir for making ourselves prominent and putting our things. Of course, Director was a strong critic and a very hardcore supporter and helped us to a greatest level. And of course, the best, is Dr. Atmani sir, who's a former director. We were doing classical research most of the time, but he focused and he made us to come to the limelight, and of course to Saul sir and NRDC for the stringent coordination and bringing us also to the limelight and to make useful
And again, with all the support and guidance of director, I am sure that we will support all the activity and live up to the expectations for the product for industries.
Yeah, on the right side, biopsy is always pain. It is performed until life beings actually, so it's painful, but it gives you some results. Autopsy is painless, but it's meaningless also to the person who is already dead. So, like it's only in a biopsy. So, if I were you, I will prefer biopsy, not autopsy. Thank you. With the permission of chair, the program, for the day, people can give me lunch and we can interact and discuss now later on also. Thank you all. Very good. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.